These are the meditations of Kantes. On today's meditation, old souls and new souls. You see, it's clear to all of us and to most people who've been in this space that most chosen ones are old souls. You see, as you will go to most narcissistic survivors or awakened empaths, and they'll tell you the exact same thing, that as a chosen one, you'll realize that you've been on this ride for a while, just taking seconds all the time. I want to do it again, I want to do it again, because you're learning and learning. As an old soul, because of how the universe is balanced, and this ties into narcissism, is that as an old soul, you'll find that you are surrounded by new souls. You will find that a lot of people who are very drawn to you, a lot of people who you know a lot of people who are narcissistic, most of them are very new souls. And they are new souls, one way of you understanding that they're new souls is just how deep they are into narcissism. They are unable, like, it's like this is their first time living. And I obviously, it's my first time. I enjoy this life. I love being alive. But it's like, as a chosen, it's like it was very easy for you to accept self accountability. And that, it might seem like an easy thing for you to accept, but most people never accept that they are the reason for all their successes and their miseries and all miseries. They never really get that power from within themselves to own their lives and own every action. They never take accountability. It takes an old soul or an experienced soul to know that I am the source of all my misery, all my happiness. It is me. That's why most of the empathic and narcissistic survivors, the awakened people, or the people of this tribe and this message, they'll tell you, and it's hard for you as an empath, that when you awaken, you realize it was you giving them all the power. You had the power. The power never left you. You were just allowing them to siphon you and do all these things. Now, because you understand this, and of course you don't understand it like a, how would I say, like a mountain you've reached, and now and understanding stops. It's more understanding and more understanding and understanding every day. But you'll understand as a new soul that you'll understand as an old soul that most of the people you are associated with were new souls. They are souls that have never truly experienced life. That's why self accountability is very, very difficult for them. And they could be in their 60s. Yeah, man, recently I was very, very, very blessed with an opportunity to dwell within the quarters of an older person, and I was able to observe just how childish a person who is in their 80s and 90s could be. I was able to observe just how maturity is anything but a number, you see. So I know what I talk about as a new soul. I know that I have seen many older people who are not worth listening to, and that's a very big statement to say about an older person. Elders are there for wisdom. Elders are there to bless us. Why would you waste the mind of a person who's been alive decades before you? Why would you waste that opportunity to ask them for wisdom? I wouldn't. That's why I'm an empath. And so I suck, or I seek, or I sought some wisdom from a lot of these narcs in their 60s, 50s, and I saw that they were the same children that I saw in the playground when I was walking up to them or to their building. I entered and I was like, oh my god, this is just a house full of children, because they are unable to take accountability. You see, they cannot take accountability, and you must take accountability for your life as a person, lazima useme hii life ni yangu manze, hiyo nilifanyika ni mimi. They can't. And that's how you know they are a new soul. And that's why as a new soul they are very drawn to you, because as an old soul, as a chosen, you know by all these things, I love money, I love resources, I love access to the same, but I love growing. I love seeing just how powerful wisdom can transform my life. I understand the value of wisdom. They don't. That's another way you are surrounded by all these new souls. And the new souls they're like, how do I say it? You are like You are like the parent. They are looking at you like the parent. You become the, even if it could be your own, it will be your own parents, your own siblings, your own grandparents. As a chosen, over time, you will realize you are when you are the grandpa, you are the wisdom. You thought you are going for these people for wisdom. Niwe uko nayo. You see, they're in their 80s, man. People have been there. I'm in my mid 20s. I'm in my mid 20s. I should be seeking, I should only be, I should only be under the guidance of all these older people, and yet they cannot give me anything. They cannot give me anything. And as a chosen, the more you start standing on your own, you have your own resources. It's fact. Their purpose is gone. That's why they were holding on to that resource. Their purpose is gone. They cannot show their value without, you know, without any material or 3D possession. They can't come to you with wisdom. They've been on this earth for 80 years, 90. The way they were when they were a child, they're still there. As a chosen, you are a generational curse breaker. Go and look at the generations as past. Look at your elders. Look at the words that they spoke, how they conducted themselves, so that you understand how different you are. Understand how different you have had conversations with these people and the things that they are saying. Even because older people are, a lot of people on this planet, they wear masks based on whatever the 3D says. So if the 3D says you are 60 years old and you should be wise because you are no longer young, they try to wear that like a coat. Every year they check, okay, I'm what? I'm 30, I should be this. Okay, I'm 40, I should be this. So the older people, because they are like older people should have wisdom, they wear all these proverbs on their arms, you know, all these words. So they wear them like a graduation gown. They come to you and they throw them, and you as a chosen, you know what real wisdom is. Real wisdom is behavior. You can keep talking and talking, but if you don't walk the talk, you're just a fucking AI. You dig what I'm saying? But anyway, I've gone on another rant. As a old soul, as a chosen, you will come to terms with the fact that you are surrounded by new souls. However miraculous they can, however miraculous it sounds, it's a new soul. Remember, every day there is life and death. There are souls that are dying, being completely washed away. There are others that are being, completely brought into existence. And you are one that has endured over time, and you are now the same way, and the same way children are drawn to their grandparents. You know that wisdom, that, and you are that to them. You have to accept that you are that big old bearded grandparent, grandpa, and that big, that big ass 60 year old, grandmother cooking, baking pies. You are that, whether you like it or not, because of your prioritization, because you put wisdom top and they don't. Fools regard wisdom as foolishness. You see, these new souls, you've seen them. They regard wisdom as foolishness. They regard wisdom as foolishness. That's why they need to go with what the Matrix is telling them. Because they're new. They think it's just about here. That's why they think they can do wrong to a person like they did to you and then walk away. Just dust off their hands and just, whoo, that was done. Like the way you eat at a restaurant, you eat, you move, and you just go. Wow. How amazing is it that you understand that's not how life works. How big of a blessing it is that you understand accountability. It's tough to carry. You're a soul. It's hard to carry the weight of a soul, to accept that all the things that have happened in my life, I chose to experience it. They can't. You think this is a joke, but trillions and trillions of souls before you have been unable to do this. If it was so simplistic, why would all the billions of people be unable to take accountability for their lives and stay at the soul? Just so you understand how incredible you are as a chosen. That's why you are chosen. You are rare on top of trillions. Trillions. They'll tell you it's about age, it's about this. You've seen 60, 80 people. Someone has been on this earth 60, 80 years, has never understood the significance of accountability. You have. You are incredible, Manze. You are incredible. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe. Old souls draw in a lot of new souls. You see, a lot of new souls are very drawn to narcissism and narcissistic traits. You know, we all, we are not perfect, all of us, of course, but you'll find that as an old soul, you are drawn to accountability. New souls are never. They are never. That's a big part of why they are new. And instead of listening to you, not in words, forget this rambling we are doing here for education. Living. You see, living. Through your behavior and how they felt, they were unable to learn. Now you must learn what you are. You are a blessing.